John Frenzy's here, and as we welcome to the program a good and longtime friend of ours, the great Ray Jacobs, who I just Wikipedia'd, and it says he's 79 years old, from Corsicana, Texas. How you doing, Jake?
I'm good.
So you're telling me there's two Ray Jacobs that played football, apparently?
There actually is, and my nephews actually brought it to my attention, and we both played for Denver. So,
right.
Yeah, we both played for Denver, so that's why when you punch my name up, it comes in. The only discrepancy is that I am African American and he is
not.
Right.
Well, but Lynch was firing all the questions at you before we went on the air. So I'm scrambling through Wikipedia to find the proper. I mean, I remember you coming here. You were, let's tell some of our viewers that aren't familiar with that era, you were one of the first Calgary Stampeders that was a free agent to come over here. Of many, Eddie Davis, Henry Burris. I'm sure if I thought there was a lot more, if I sat here and thought about it.
Yeah.
But you started that era with Roy and Danny here and did some good things. Mm-hmm. What made you guys all want to come over here from the Stampeders?
It was Roy. I mean, Roy brought me in. He was the one that introduced me to the CFL. He brought me into the Calgary Stampeders, and we kept in touch. And it was just one of those things where we had that communication line that was open, and I trusted and I believed him. And at the end of the day, you know, it's only 6 hours away. And I guess the only option, if you want to stay close to Calgary, would be to go to Edmonton. But that would be like
no thanks.
A rider going to Winnipeg. So.
Right. Now, you guys accomplished some great things. I know you had a lot of fun here, made a lot of new friends. So in retrospect, would you do it again? Or did you wish you'd stayed in Calgary, which is still, of course, the marquee franchise?
You know what? In retrospect, in hindsight, we always want to look back and we want to make changes. But at this particular time in my life, I just feel like you know, everything happens for a reason. And, you know, you want to change things. The main thing for me is you just don't want to have regrets. And we all will. There's all things that we want to do over and stuff. But to do it all over again, I would probably say no. I would probably would have still left. I probably would have still came here. I mean, these were decisions that were made over not over a short period of time, but over a long period of time. And the way I see it is, you know, overall, I mean, football is a business. And at the end of the day, you have to keep it that way. You have to be aware that that's where it's going to come. It's not going to last forever.
Ray Jacobs with us here in the bunker. And I will say this, your time, how many years were you here with us?
I was here for a year.
Just one?
Yeah, I was here for a year.
Well, it was memorable.
Almost like, I don't know, a year and a half, maybe, or whatever.
Well, you made a lot of really close friends in that locker room, man, because they still talk about you.
That's good. You know what? Actually, I saw Jeremy ODay yesterday.
In the gym?
No, I was in the stadium. I was just visiting. I haven't been in the stadium. I just kind of got a good look at the bottom. I still haven't been there. But I was walking out, and he was picking up his daughter, and I saw him. It was good to see him.
Yeah.
It was really good to see him. And, you know, the last time I was here, I got up and I spoke to Nate Davis and Andrew Green. Constantly, you know, I didn't play with Paul Waldo, but me and him are becoming close people. So, you know, and that's the thing about football is the camaraderie. You actually do make friends from life because, you know, over the years, you know, you're fighting for the same goal. Blood, sweat, and tears are all spilled on the field. And when you go through tough, tumultuous times with people, that's when you really grow close.
Now, who was that front four with you? You came from Calgary. That was quite a catch to really make our front four even stronger. And it was pretty good as it was, but who was with you this time?
Sheldon Napustic. Then we had, what was his name? He was the other nose guy.
Canadian.
Yes,
Scriv.
He's from Moose Jaw.
Scott Schultz. Scott Schultz, 01. Yeah. There's the era. There's the era.
And then of course you had Nate Davis, and then there was Shante Peoples on the other side.
That's a pretty awesome front four.
Yeah. We got along well, and it was. I mean, you know, when I came here, they were calling us bookends, and I was like, "What is a bookend?" He's like, "Well, you know, it's kind of like you guys supposed to run the show and stuff." But yeah, it was exciting. It was good. I mean, but I must say. Things have certainly changed a lot since I played here. I mean, this city has grown. The stadium, even though I haven't been in it, is
oh, you're going to love that
great.
stadium.
And it just seems like you guys just got things going a little bit better.
Yeah, all they don't have is a great football team right now, but that's taking time. I guess we're going to have to rebuild.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it is a business, and people know, and you're going to have it's a revolving door, and unfortunately, if you're successful enough to stay in the game and retire from it, you're probably going to get that line from a coach one day. This is a business. I'm sorry.
Well, interesting that you said you ran into Jeremy ODay. You were teammates with him. You would have knocked heads with him in practice quite a bit back when they practiced in pads, right? You would have literally knocked heads with him. Mm-hmm. Did you think then that maybe this guy would be a general manager in this league one day?
You know what? You just, as far as me, no, you wouldn't. But I do know Jeremy ODay was loved in the community. He always kept his head down, and I knew that he was a fan favorite. I guess for me, I know he could do anything he wants to. It's just a matter of knowing him well enough to find out what he wants to do. So.
Right. Well, the interesting thing was when it was Ken Miller, who, interestingly enough, his wife is up from North Carolina here in town. Had coffee with her this week. Kenny Miller brought in Jeremy, I think it was 2011, Lynch,
yep,
and said, we think it's time to retire. We'd like to offer you a spot in the front office. What do you think about that? Mm-hmm. And Jeremy was like, I'd never thought about it before. Let me think about it. And now all of a sudden, boom, he takes off on the road to being a GM, which is probably the way you're supposed to look at it, right, Jake? One day at a time. I mean, it was presented to him, and now look where he is.
Well, and now that I think about it, Jeremy ODay was always one of those guys that was up on what was going on in the team. Even though he kept his head down, he still conversate with Roy. Like a lot of guys would come in and they only dealt with football and their friends, but he kind of he was out into the organization. He knew what was going on outside, so it kind of makes sense now a little bit,
Right. So you're in North Carolina. What you been doing since you left the CFL?
Oh, I've been living. I've been doing a lot of growing. I mean, I must say that. I mean, when you go through life and you're playing football, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in so many different things. It's easy to get caught up in the game and actually think that the game will last forever. But getting back to the story, I have 3 beautiful kids in Calgary, Riker, Tayana, and Angelina. Being a father is full-time. And in the meantime, right now, I'm currently doing schooling. I'm working with CCIS in Calgary. That's the Catholic Community Immigration Society. And what they do is they deal with a lot of people as far as placing them, such as myself, being an immigrant, as placing guys and making them ready and available for the job market here, and to help them provide them with work visas. However, on the flip side of things, when I am here, I have worked with a lot of high schools. My major overall goal is to take what I've learned in life, on and off the field, and be able to regurgitate that to the younger players, right? Whether it be in the weight room, whether it be in the locker room, and whether it will be in a classroom setting on a mentoring aspect of things. But as far as work, you got to pay the bills. And I believe it's the more you can do, right?
Well, I think you have the world by the tail. But here's the funny thing, Lynch. I'm at my gym, Evolution Fitness, a couple months ago, Jake. And I see this.
Actually, a year ago.
Was it that long ago?
Oh, yeah.
It was whatever it was. Time flies. And I see this guy going by me, and I'm just doing my little 30 minutes of cardio. I'm not pushing any serious weight like these guys. And I'm like, that guy looks like Ray Jacobs, but a lot smaller. Because I didn't know, you're big now, but you were big when you played.
Yeah, I was. And actually, I kind of shrunk down to my college weight. The good thing about it is I've had a lot of evaluations that were brought to me through the NFL. They've paid in fund, and it was about, with the concussions and things that are going on. I wanted to see what was going on, and I am involved in the concussion lawsuit. But, I had 2. I've been through 2 years of testing, and, fortunately for me, everything checked out. And it was a blessing. And the doctors were commending me, and they were telling me how few of a class I was in because of my health. And that's one of the things that we do not think about in general until it affects us. We don't think about our freedom until it's taken away, and we don't think about our health until it starts going bonkers. And then everyone's like, oh, God, just give me one more day. So these
and you can't buy it.
You can't buy land, and you can't buy more time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with all that being said, you just can't take things for granted, and I haven't. And my passion has always been in the gym. That is how I got to be a football player. And just on the mental aspect of things, it's done wonders for me as far as my character. I mean, you got to think about this: mind, body, and spirit, right? I believe that you can tell a lot about a person from their outside, because some would say that if a person looks good, well, the outside appearance is only a mere reflection of what's going on in the inside. So with that being said, I think that's my destiny, and that's why I want to be involved in sports. I'm good at it. It's my passion. I love it. It makes me feel good.
Ray Jacobs with us, former Denver Bronco, Stampeder, and Saskatchewan Roughrider. We'll turn Lynch on him with football questions when we come back.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.